All right. Today I'm going to give you the ultimate checklist for first-time authors. So, whether you're just starting with an idea or you're deep into the writing process, I'm going to give you this checklist in today's episode that's going to keep you on track from start to finish. So, grab yourself a notebook, settle in, and let's get into it. Now, the first step is to have a clear book idea because every book starts with a great idea. And this is more than just the topic. I want you to think of your idea as the central message inside your book, and they're the insights that you want to share. So spend time thinking about what you want to communicate and why it matters as well. And what I do is I ask myself, what's the one thing I want readers to take away from my book? So if you're struggling to narrow it down, just jot down all your ideas, then choose ones that are going to resonate with you the most. And you can always expand on them as well. You then want to decide which pathway you want to take when it comes to publishing. Now, I won't go into too much detail, but there are many options available. You've got self-publishing, you've got hybrid publishing, you've got traditional publishing decisions, and there should be one of the earliest decisions that you make. So with traditional publishing, it offers credibility and access to a professional team, but it can also be a lengthy process. Self-publishing gives you complete creative control and you'll be responsible for everything. And then hybrid publishing can offer you that middle ground as well. So how you write your book would be dependent on the choice you make as well. And once you've chosen your publishing path, you then want to outline the structure of your book. Now, structure is vitally important when it comes to getting your book written because it's going to be that framework. It's going to be what allows you to actually continue to progress. So with a clear idea and a publishing path, that is the next step, is creating a solid outline. And think of it as your roadmap. So begin by breaking down that idea that I spoke about earlier, your main idea. Break them down into chapters or sections. And then for each chapter, you can jot down key points or examples that you want to include. And the whole thing about your draft outline is it's going to be a draft. So it's going to be messy as well. And it might feel rough at first, but you'll continue to refine it as you go. And this outline, it's going to give you a sense of flow and it's going to give you an indication of knowing what to write at the right time. So you're not getting stuck. You're not getting stuck in the weeds of writing. You know the direction you're heading in so you can make it happen. So you can actually continue to write your book. Now, after the outline, you don't want to skip this step. This step is to research your audience. Understanding your audience is crucial because your book, it's not just about what you want to say. It's about the readers and what they want and need. So who are you writing to? Who are you talking to? What are their pain points? What are their interests? You want to get specific. So maybe your audience is business owners who are looking to grow or parents juggling that work-life balance. The clearer you are, the more relatable your book is going to be and the more it's going to resonate with the people or with the audience who you write it for. So once you've got your outline sorted, set a realistic schedule or a realistic writing schedule. So this is about consistency. It's not about writing all day, every day. So look at your current routine and decide how many hours or how many words you can commit to weekly. Roughly, you can get 1,000 words done in an hour. So you might choose to write an hour each morning, a few times a week, or maybe even on the weekend. The consistency is key here. Building that writing habit, it's going to strengthen it. It's going to help you maintain the momentum and you'll be really surprised at how quickly you can make progress with a solid routine as well. And then once you've done that, you then want to start writing. So you've mapped out your book, you've got your outline, you've got your schedule, you're ready to go. This is the stage where you simply get your ideas down and perfection isn't the goal. Momentum is. So don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about structure. Don't even worry about editing. Just write because every book starts off with a rough draft. You want to embrace the messiness of it and you can start to refine it because what stops books being written is actually taking the leap and getting into a position where you can actually write your book, where you know what you're actually going to write every time you show up. So the rough draft, it's important and consistency is the key. And I always say you can finish your rough draft between 6 to 8 weeks because you think about it, if you've got an average business book, which is about 45,000 to 50,000 words, working on that for an hour a day, and if you show up 6 times a week, you'll have your book ready in 6 to 8 weeks. So think about how you write your book and the schedule that you're setting as well, because writing the draft without the schedule, your first draft won't exist. It's really important to actually continue to write your book, sticking to that schedule that you set for yourself. Once you've finished your draft, you want to get feedback early. So you've got a few chapters in, you might consider sharing them with somebody, with potential clients, or getting early feedback from someone. So you can choose your friends, your colleagues, your mentors, choose people who represent you and your audience. Now, one thing I'll also say is you don't have to take every suggestion. You just want to be open to feedback, because that's going to make your book even stronger as well. And then once that's done, you can then revise and edit the draft. So there's the eye scanning edit, which is a visual, fresh eye look over. And then there's a deep self edit, which really comes from a point of you and the writer, where you're getting into how it makes sense for you. Does this make sense to the person on the other end reading it? So consider working your self edits into chunks. So you might focus on structure one moment, you might focus on the dialogue and then the details. You don't want to rush this stage, because the revising, it's going to turn your draft into something that's super professional, something that you are super happy with as well. And then it's also going to be beneficial into the next thing you're going to do, which is hire a professional editor. So once you've self-edited, it's time to bring in the professional, bring in the person who knows what it's like to bring a book to life, to edit a great book, and to make your words shine. So a good editor, or a great editor, they'll enhance your writing without losing your voice. And that's one of the important things here too. So they'll look to refine your structure, refine the clarity, catch any inconsistencies, and also correct grammatical issues as well. So the professional touch, I always say, is a non-negotiable when it comes to writing a book. I mean, I make sure I've got professional editors inside Idea to Impact, so your book can be professionally edited as well. And then once your book's out with the editor, you can start looking at your book cover. So the book cover is that first impression. So make it count. And whether you're hiring a cover designer or using software yourself, which I won't recommend if you don't have any experience, focus on the clarity and professionalism, and choose colors, images, tones that are reflective of your brand. Now, you will be able to test a few cover concepts with your designer as well. What you'll let them know is what you want on your cover, whether it's a picture of you, whether it's symbols or other imagery that reflects your business, reflects your brand. So you just want to make sure that you know what you're looking for your book cover, and that professional touch is going to elevate your work to the next level. It's going to help make your book ready for publication, and it's going to be the difference whether somebody picks your book up or not. So if possible as well, test a few cover concepts with your target audience. That way you can see what's going to resonate best with them as well. And then you're going to get to the formatting of the manuscript. So the formatting is what's going to give your book that professional, polished feel. And this step, it's about making sure everything from your font choices to the chapter headings to the resources you might want to include in your book, images, you want to make sure that that is all ready to go for the formatter, so they can format your book and have it ready to create the publishing files. And just another note on that, a good formatting, it makes your book so much easier to read, and it's also more visually appealing, which is going to enhance the overall reader experience too. And then after that, you want to develop your marketing plan. So the marketing isn't for just after your book's published. It starts right now. It starts before you even have your idea. Think about the promotional strategy early. So are you going to be using social media, blog posts, guest appearances on podcasts? And also, what about your network? What about your current network? Do you have a network that can spread the word? Current clients, potential clients, building that anticipation around your book's release, it's going to create the momentum. And when it creates momentum, you're going to be able to generate interest. And there's also going to be a plan in place that makes the promotion process less overwhelming. So once you've got that marketing plan down pat, then becomes the launch strategy. So your book launch is a big deal. You want to make it memorable. So you can consider setting up virtual or in-person events. I always love people doing book launch events in person. They're just so much fun to be at as well. I'll always recommend building a launch team where you have readers who are going to read your book prior to launching your book. And when that book is launched, they're going to leave reviews on Amazon. And then you're going to have more credibility, gain more awareness of your book as well. And you're going to have people advocating for your book during the week of that launch and beyond too, because they've read it, they know what you're about, they know what your book's about, and they're happy to share your message. Now, after your launch strategy, you might want to consider creating a press kit as well. So this is an invaluable asset for promoting your book to, say, media outlets. And it can include your author bio. It can include a summary of your book, images of you. If you've got a podcast, details about your podcast. You want to make it easy for journalists, bloggers, or even influencers to write about you by giving them all the information in one place. Because a professional looking media kit is not only going to save you time, it's going to make you look prepared and also credible in the industry that you're writing to, or in the industry that you're pitching to as well. And then finally, the last thing you want to do is to prepare for ongoing promotion. So even after your book's published, the promotion doesn't end there. You want to continue sharing your message from your book. So this is where you can seek out opportunities and talk about it, whether that's on podcasts. You can connect with new readers, you can attend networking events, bring books to your networking events too. This is your opportunity to start getting the word out and letting people know, hey, I have a book. This is how you can also work with me if you're interested, but here's how I can help you solve the problem too. And so on that final note, I will just say your book is a long-term strategy. It's not a short-term strategy. It's a long-term strategy, and it is a short-term investment to get your book written. And that's what we do inside Idea to Impact. We help you get your book published in 6 months so you can create more income, impact, and influence in your industry as well. So let's just now recap, because I'm going to give you a checklist that's going to be available in the show notes as well. So the first one was to have a clear idea of your book. You then want to choose your publishing path. You then want to outline the structure of your book, research your audience, set a realistic writing schedule. You then want to start writing your first draft, start getting feedback. After you've got the feedback, you can start revising and editing the draft. You then want to hire a professional editor and a book cover designer. After that's all sorted, you can then format your manuscript, develop a marketing plan, set up a launch strategy, create a press kit, and then just continue promoting even after your launch. So I hope you got some value from this episode, because a lot of the times we think that the book writing process is overwhelming. But if you literally strategize by going, this is the first step I need to take, this is the second step, it's going to make writing a book so much easier. So with these steps, with this checklist in mind, you're going to be prepared to take your book from an idea to a finished product that's going to make an impact as well. Now, writing a book, it's no small feat, but with a plan, and the plan involves this checklist, it's absolutely achievable. So thanks for joining me on today's episode. I hope the checklist you can get in the show notes helps you bring your book to life. Until next time, if you want to reach out for me about Idea to Impact, if you want to know what it's about, let me know on Instagram or send me an email, get in contact with me. But until next time, write that book.